This is the end. Task 6 of 6 of the final major project. So let's have a look then. At this stage, we will have on our WordPress blogs the following. Your research will be very much done, whereby you look into the domain you are working in and give me a detailed research paper. Your pitch and accompanying proposal document will also be complete. Your pre-production documentation, journal, and so on will also be nearing completion. Your production, your project itself, done. Research feedback ongoing throughout the project, but it will be now, at this point, looking pretty healthy on your WordPress blogs. Get me to check these things if you're unsure. This video is all about the evaluation, which covers 4.1. So, for 4.1, you are going to be reflecting and evaluating. As after each of these tasks here, I've got the submission evidence for you to let you know what you need to submit and what I expect to see. Task 6 is no different. The submission evidence for this is going to be an evaluation that critically reflects and evaluates against your project, against the parameters and what we agreed in your pitch and proposal. That's what we're measuring up against here. So you might want to dust off your proposal documents at this point to reflect back on what you've achieved in relation to that proposal document. Chances are it's going to be very different. That's okay. But you're going to tell me that story as to why it's different and how it changed. Now, so your research feedback at this point will be invaluable because you've shown that you're constantly open to different viewpoints and perspectives as to how you can improve and evolve your idea, which is something we need to do in industry. Collaborate, listen, be creative, problem solve, and critically think our way out of situations whereby things don't necessarily come across the way we expected them to. Being understanding to the fact that the audience needs certain things, and the way we create things might not always be attuned to that. So it's about us becoming on the same frequency as our audience and creating a project for the audience that is in keeping with our proposal, but also is constantly conscious of who is receiving it. So evaluate your project. Refer to any peer, so you and another student in the room, and self-assessment forms that you may have completed throughout the project. So there might be you self-assessing your own work against your proposal, for example. Looking at that and then telling me what you think of your project in relation to it. What works well, what was better, what didn't work as well as it perhaps could have done, why. Use the audience feedback you gathered in task 5, research feedback. Use this to help you talk about what you've learned from your audience. What have you taken from it? What are you going to move forward with, knowing, being stronger for? I want you to reflect upon and compare your project against your individual research essay in task 1. So look at task 1, the research, and your research essay you've created as a result of task 1, and compare your work to the work that you analysed. How does it stack up against the examples, the media artifacts that originally inspired you? How does it compare your work against theirs? Evaluate your contribution to the project. So if you're working in a pair in particular, this will be particularly useful. But even if you are working solo, and many of you seem to be, I want to see you talk about what you did. Was you producing, directing, photographing, project managing, running social media, running a blog, doing podcasts? What were you doing? What did you contribute? What different things did you add into this project? Tell me about the skills you've developed. Evaluate how you've grown. Reflect on this process. Tell me how much stronger you are. Tell me what you've developed. Have you built up resilience, mental toughness, Adobe Photoshop skills? using Final Cut Pro, how to manage a project, how to be brutally efficient with a calendar, how to communicate to an audience, how to talk to authoritarian figures, how to interview. What different skills did you learn throughout this project? Tell me about what developments you now want to think about to develop your creative media skills even further. Push yourself to industry standard. Where's that gap between where you are at the end of the FMP and industry standard? What do you need to do to bridge that gap? This is what the evaluation is. You bridging this gap between where you are now and where you need to be in industry. The submission evidence, as I've mentioned already, is your evaluation itself. Now, as I've just shown you guys actually in Google Classroom, there is a way to do this evaluation using voice typing. So, as I illustrate in this here, short 3-minute video, you can use voice typing in Google Docs to actually speak and for your text to be transcribed live into text for your evaluation. For those of you who are reluctant or reticent to actually type, some people are, more so than others, particularly after a long project, might be a useful tool for you to do, as I'm doing right now on the screen in this video preview, voice typing to actually create your evaluation that way. If you are to record a vlog, much like I'm doing right now, I need it to be structured. I need it to be rigorously structured. I'd like to see timestamps as well in each section. Makes it easier for me to mark, to actually look at your video and to see at 2 minutes 12, Jade starts talking about her pitch and proposal. And 4 minutes 15, starts talking about the pre-production, starts talking about the project at different stages. And I can just click on those hyperlinks in YouTube in the description metadata underneath, and it jumps straight to those bits. Makes it easier for me. Also, it's just a bit more organized and structured than a free-flowing vlog, which, as some of you have demonstrated, can be difficult to keep to a suitable time frame. So I want you to be organized and disciplined in how you communicate in the evaluation if you choose to do it as a vlog. Many of you will choose to do it as written, in which case doing it voice typing is an option for some of you. Just thought I'd point that out as one last point before moving on to this. This assessment decision document, which you've each got in Google Classroom next to your actual assignment itself. So you open up your assignments and you will see that you've each got the PDF of the assignment brief, and then you've got this here, the assessment decision. Now, this is what I'm using to assess your work. So be conscious of this. I'm going to be looking through task 1 research and looking at whether it's fail, pass, merit, or distinction for that particular bit of work for task 1 research. For your pitch and proposal, I'm looking at the research and presentation skills, and again, pass, merit, distinction. For pre-production and production itself, which covers 3.1, so they're put together here, looking at your planning and production work and your practical skills, and again, pass, merit, or distinction. Your teachers will be using this grid to help you over the coming weeks. Research feedback, an incredibly important part of the FMP. Your research and your problem solving. Looking for pass, merit, or distinction levels here. I'll go through this in more detail this week as well. But for this one, task 6 evaluation, for pass, you'll clearly communicate evidence of valid evaluation, so justified, realistic, expected points, and you'll show some independence to show me how you've informed and developed and built up your ideas throughout the project. From merit, your communication will be effective and it will show more analysis, going into detail and thinking about why something turned out the way it did, picking things apart, being more analytical, being more, I don't know, of a detective about the project, I suppose, more objective, looking back at it like a scientist almost, and sort of looking at the facts and the evidence and building up understanding that way. It's looking at it removed from yourself. Difficult to do, but that'd be more merit level. Interpreting your findings, a synthesis of information and application of reasoned decision making. That's really well put, I think. So what I take that to mean is you will be working independently on your own and synthesizing information you've found and an application of reasoned decision making. So showing me that you've justified, thought through, and thought about why certain things have come out the way they have. Real reflection. And show me how you've made informed development of your ideas. That will be apparent in a merit level response. For distinction level, it will be accomplished, really detailed, professional communication skills, and perceptive analysis, real keen eye for detail, looking at the details, the minutiae, as it were, and interpreting your project and picking out parts of it and explaining how you can push on to professional levels. Be clear as well. It will demonstrate clarity and sophistication in thinking about the project and maturity in the decision making. So what I mean by maturity there, or rather the UAL standard, what it means, I like to think, is that you take ownership, responsibility for what went well, and you show real growth and how you're going to improve things as a consequence of that learning experience, and how your project has developed and progressed as a consequence of this experience. Always thinking about industry standards compared to your project and how you can bridge that gap. Okay, so we're being very transparent about this. This is how we are marking you for each of these tasks. So there's no harm in printing it off and using it to inform what you are doing. Okay, need any help at all? As always, please let me know. Okay, good luck.